Beers and Banter, episode 26. For all the lifesaving fans, this one's for you. We have the greatest board relay ever assembled. We're going to cover a few of the hot topics in sport and the great debate. Do you want a lemon or a lime with your Corona? Let's do it. AJ, Bronco and the Crab, welcome to the Sweaty Box.
Hey, Matty. How are
Thanks,
you, mate?
Matty.
Matty, cheers, mate.
Good to be here.
It's been way too long since I've seen you blokes.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Thanks for coming in. Shout out to my wife. It's our wedding anniversary today. I was poor planning on my part, but
Hang on a sec, Matty. You cheers us, but when you cheers, this is what you do. You normally have a...
Oh, do I not sit?
No.
I struggle when I've got to do like more than one thing at once.
Is that from your French heritage you get that from, or was that?
I did pick up a few good things over there, yeah.
So, so what's everyone been up to?
Do you remember?
What he's been doing? Phil, you've just retired from footy.
Yep. Just, dad life now. Just had a baby boy 17 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's huge.
Yep, best day of my life. Like when he was delivered.
Not a gold medal at the board relay? No?
No.
Topped
Becoming
it.
a dad and like when he's delivered, just the
Not when you put me under the sticks in Ipswich for the
the Bronco
Southern Division Championship. No.
to win the game.
Yeah, no, okay.
No, just
That
the flood of emotion come out of me when he was delivered. So yeah, I can't wipe the smile off my face.
That's good.
The worst thing is leaving and going to work during the day when he's
Where was he born?
Southport.
Queenslander.
Yeah, true blue.
That's the way. No,
True maroon.
Maroon.
But yeah,
Yeah,
you get what I
righto.
mean. Rock solid.
AJ's probably the one that's probably struggled a little bit since he left school. Like the three of us are all Bronco and the Crab have all graduates of the Gold Coast Institute of TAFE. Like, what have you been doing with your life, AJ, since we left school?
Mate, I've gone on and studied to be a vet. So I've done a few years at uni and a few other things along the way.
Looking fit as a fiddle, actually.
Trying, mate. Yeah,
Looking good, mate.
trying. Although I haven't just finished up. How many games did you end up playing in your career, Phil?
I think 745.
Oh, my God. Who's counting?
Dad kept
Tones.
the record. Yeah,
Oh,
old
yeah.
tones.
All the newspaper clippings too. You got plenty of them.
Good on you, mate. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
cheers.
Yeah.
It's a fair effort.
And sorry,
You
mate.
didn't get you didn't get your missus get a diamond ring or anything like that? Cam Smith got one? No?
No,
No NRL present?
nothing.
That's a shame.
What do you think of that? Well, what you bringing up?
Oh,
Give-
it's fair play, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
He's given plenty to the game.
Really?
Yeah, but 400 games, and that's 400 only NRL. You're not including State of Origin, Australian games. So that's 400. And then on top of that, all through his junior playing days, all the rep footy and all that. That's incredible, and it will happen again. But he's the first ever to do it. And the closest to him, I think, is Lockyer at 355. It's either 365
what about James
or
Graham sort of got him
355.
when you talk about first grade games?
Yeah, that's true.
Super
Yep.
League stuff and that.
I worked out once Cam Smith spent more than a year of his life in Origin camp.
Wow.
So like 40 Origins, 10 days apiece. It's 400 days in Origin camp. Did other sums one day. I was like, if I spent an hour on the loo every day, when I turned 24, I'd spend a year of my life on the toilet.
That's
It's a mass for you.
Yep.
Are you throwing back to me at any stage? See what I've been up
Yeah,
to?
what have you been? Well, I know what you've been up to. Sorry, I just assume running a successful business, still helping out with the local club.
Yeah, mate. No, I got the boys running around. I got 3 boys now. Oldest is 10 and down to 5. So chucked them all in a bit of soccer and surf club. So
Would you have thought we would have 9 kids amongst us when we were younger
Well,
Yes.
that we take responsibility for?
yeah. Share our last names.
No, that's good, mate. I guess the reason I wanted the 3 of you to come in, you're all good mates, and we haven't seen each other in way too long. But I really wanted to pick your brains on that winner mentality, and we discussed it a little bit off air. In my eyes, the three of you are winners, and when you look at achievement, I would say that's there's gold medals. You're all Australian champions. Phil, you've had quite a successful footy career. AJ, whether it's sport or you're one of those assholes that's good at sports and really smart. Cliffy, very successful, and I know you've got that mentality that your body will break before your mind does. And it sort of dawned on me last night what the difference between me and you guys is that I was not bad at sports that were really fast. So, like beach flags, it's all over in a couple of seconds. So it's just an explosion, get to the flag as quick as possible and then repeat. Any sport where it went on for too long and my mind started to kick in, and that's just life in general. As I overanalyze things, and anything over a 400-metre run was basically like, geez, your legs are getting tired, or geez, you're out of breath, your lungs are starting to burn. And I just want to know what are successful people thinking when that kicks in?
I don't know what about the other boys, but for myself, in our sport that related to lifesaving, where the ocean is just the ultimate competitor, never gives in, it never stops. It's you versus them and the 15 other guys you're racing against. So, but the main guy you've got to beat is the ocean. If you can't get out successfully with your craft or negotiate it back in again, then you don't get the chocolates. So you can look at it a couple of ways. You can be defeated by the ocean, or you can get angry at it, or smile at it and just say, well, you got me this time and I'm coming back for you next time, and just keep plugging away until you defeat it, really.
Yeah.
That's just never give up, really. That's the main key, and that's the thing I try and drum into the kids at training and my boys too. Like, just when you cop one on the head, it's guaranteed that nearly the 14 other guys in the race with you have copped it as well. So just put your head down and punch through it, and when your body's screaming at you to stop, you just scream back at it and say, 10 more strokes and we'll be out.
10 more strokes. That's what I'm trying to teach my young bloke at the moment is, get under that wave and just do 10 hard strokes, and you'll just, like, those first 10 are important to get through.
Oh, they're massive, mate. Like, there's only probably, in most scenarios, there's only a 50-metre pain period, and once you're through that, it's just go through the motions, get yourself around the course and make yourself back in. Phil was good at coming back in. Always found himself a nice path out, and so his take on the hard struggles trying to get through the break, and are probably slightly different to myself and AJ, but he always found a nice path out and pretty cruisy way to come back home.
AJ, I think you're the only one of the three. Phil, did you ever do the gold?
No.
AJ, you've done the gold, which is probably the toughest race in lifesaving.
Yeah.
Where do you go mentally on a day like that?
Oh, to a bad place, Matty. Really, it's I'd say it'd be one of the hardest races to prepare for. Both physically and mentally. I think it takes a lot out of you to both prepare for it sufficiently and then go and execute. And I think that the question you raised earlier around what do winners do different is, I think a race like that, just there's nowhere to hide. The guys who do the preparation, the guys who put the hard work in, inevitably are going to be the ones who come out on top.
Yeah.
And it's Ali Day's won, don't quote me here, 4 or 5 now, I think, and he was out this year due to injury. But that guy just has a work ethic like no other, I think, and it's probably a tribute to, and no different to Kane next time as well. Just tough. Mentally tough, but they put the work in at the same time. So I think you need that balance to be at the best you can be at that level.
Yeah.
I remember talking to you at the time when you were training for it, I think, and you did a lot yourself, but those boys, they do a lot of training on their own. It is a race that does get spread out quite a long way, and not like a normal clubby race where you're on top of each other most of the way. Like, I think for the gold, and AJ will be able to tell you, but you need to do a lot of that really hard mental, self-motivating stuff, like the big long Ks on your own, where you're just literally fighting yourself and your own battles, like that whole way, going training with a big group's good fun, and we all love that along our way, but
I never did. I was always about 200 metres behind, paddling out past the shark cans at Burley Point in the dark. It was never good on your own.
Good character building, that.
I reckon, just touching on that, I always live by this motto, and when I was
Isn't it good?
coaching a couple of years ago with footy, I always used to drum it into them. Hard work is rewarded, so effort is rewarded.
Yeah.
I can use the perfect example is Billy Slater. Everyone always used to think, the ball always bounced his way. It was always like that. But he just always put himself in a position where, okay, maybe the ball bounced to him 5 out of the 10, but everyone remembers that 5. They don't remember the 5 that the ball bounced the other way and he didn't get it. But it was just purely that he was just always there, which means the effort was always there and you get rewarded from just hard work.
Even those little runs he used to do up the inside, he was always, if he didn't get the little short pass, he was just there, and that just put that second guess in the opposition's mind, like, where is he? Is he going to be, if he's coming up the inside, like, he's every chance they were going to pop that short ball to him, like, and he might not have got it every time, as you say, but the 5-10% that they did pop the pass, he generally went through and scored a try. Like, as you say, those little 10%ers that, go unrewarded a lot of the time, those efforts, but when they come off, they you get the goods.
Yeah, it just puts doubt in the mind of the defenders because they're thinking, okay, like, and if he's always there, they always have to be like checking him.
That's right. Yeah.
So, while before we get into the footy and off the life-saving, I want to sort of, I think we're all sort of fairly passionate about the surf club. We've got me and Cliffy got kids down there. I'm hoping we'll see some more down there soon.
Yep.
Probably 5 or 6 years away. Bronco.
Yep.
You can't be far away.
6
Yeah,
years.
next year.
Yeah. What went wrong with lifesaving? There is 500 kids at our local beach on a Sunday, but as far as a sporting profile, it's from when we were kids to now. It's not even close.
No, it's sad, isn't it? And in my opinion, I don't know what you guys think. I think they've just got the most marketable sport in the country. You got young, fit, healthy people running around in the sun on beaches.
Yeah.
In beautiful, locations. And how do you get that wrong?
There's the old bloke like me in Speedos. That's what puts people off when the camera's panning around.
Mate, at the end of the day, there's a couple of things that sell sports and make TV ratings, and it's sex and carnage. And Surf Club has got the potential to do both. It's got the girls wearing what they wear and the blokes wearing what they wear, so it suits both parties there. And the carnage of the big sport. We got too PC, to be honest. We had a couple of tragedies, which is 100% total tragedies, in the sport. But it really dialed back on the
excitement of the
100%. Like, people want to tune in. Like, when we were kids growing up, the best ones to watch were the Piha, the Portsies.
Scotty Reeves winning at Piha.
And it's like
monstrous.
It's
Phil
like
Clayton ski just going
8 to
Hendy's
10.
ski,
It's 8 to 10 foot. Guys are getting pounded, and it really highlighted the sport. That probably put it on the map back in those days, to be honest. Like, it's but they shied away from it, and for good reason. Like, as I said, there's a couple of tragedies there, but we need to find a happy medium there where we can get a bit of the element of skill back in the sport. As we talked about before, hard work pays off, but we nearly got to the point where we're sort of torn between where a kayaking and a pool swimming sport, to be honest, and
exactly.
the fit guys win. It's we've lost that element of the Phil Ramage, mate, spending hours, and to his credit, you talk about Billy Slater doing your craft, you were good at it, and just hours going to the beach and
you just said that word when we were talking on the phone today, and when you hung up, that's what I thought. The craft is gone. The actual surf craft, like Hendy's body surfing ability, or his ability to lose his board and carry on, or diving under the buoy, the turning can, and it'd pop up on the other side. But a lot of that surf craft has gone because it's almost flat water, and the quickest, fittest guy wins every time. And no disrespect to Shannon, but like, he probably made the sport boring being so good. Like, it made it predictable.
But, like, just touching back on the excitement side of things, I remember once it went from Uncle Toby's died off, and then it was coming into, it was one summer they called it. And I remember flicking on the TV on a Sunday when it was on, and if it was dead flat, I'd flick it straight back off. I wouldn't even sit in front because it's boring. Like, whoever was the best pool swimmer and the best board paddler, ski paddler in flat was going to win.
Well, I think what really killed it, and people at the time probably thought it was a divisive thing like ARL and Super League, it was Uncle Toby's versus Nutrigrain, and people probably thought, oh, that's not a not a unified sport. But Uncle Toby's pulling out is probably the worst thing that's ever happened to Lifesaving, because all the money disappeared straight away. Kellogg's didn't have to spend anywhere near as much cash to own all of the athletes. And Uncle Toby's used to be good because they were the Ironman. That was always it was an Ironman event every week. Ironman, Iron Women, and then Nutrigrain sort of had the diversity in that it was more like a carnival. So you had your flags, your sprints, your boats, the whole lot. And as the token beachy in this foursome, I'm going to say the greatest spectator sport that Surf Lifesaving has is beach flags. And the laugh that I'm getting out of AJ right now is the exact response that you get out of the majority of our sport, and that it's to Joe Smith on the street, they'd rather watch beach flags because it's a spectator sport. But to the purist in lifesaving, like stop building sandcastles and get on a board. That's the attitude, and I think it's a missed opportunity as far as engaging the public.
I don't disagree with you. I think you've got the product there is fantastic, and anyone can come and understand that really quickly and watch it. And I think flags, and same as sprints, everyone loves running. Everyone wants to see that athleticism in this flight. So I think, they've got a product from flags to sprints to ski paddling to whatever. They just got to market it well. But back to what you said before, I think the Uncle Toby's guys were household names on the back of the, Wheat Bix or Vita Brits or whatever it was.
Probably got cards over there.
Everyone knew who they were.
Vita Brits box.
Now, who won the Coolangatta Gold 2 weeks ago? Is he a household name? No disrespect, but no, they're not these days because they're not out there in the marketing.
Guy Leach, what did he win, 1 or 2 golds?
I think it was 2.
And he probably defined his life, like set him up well. He made a name out of being the Coolangatta Gold winner.
Yeah,
Hendy, household name amongst our generation. Our parents, it was probably Grant Kenny, obviously. And
he went back to back. He won the under 18s and the Open Ironman after each other.
How long did it take for someone else? Who was the next one?
No one's done it.
No one
Still not done?
Still not been done.
Oh, I thought it got done a couple of years ago. No.
Shannon Kai was the closest.
I reckon you might be right.
I thought it.
No, I reckon.
I think
someone's done it. I think someone recently done it within the last 3 to 5 years.
If I had a producer, I'd
I
get him to
reckon
Google that.
I reckon it might even be that Matt.
I think it could be.
Yeah.
But let's check it. But
Roddy, that's on you, mate.
There is no more Australian sport. Maybe cricket, but surf lifesaving. Winning there's not many sports where winning the Australian Championship's better than winning the World Championship.
That's it. Do you know who the world champions are?
No idea.
Not Australia. The team, when you look at the teams,
really?
The New Zealanders beat us
Really?
most years, yeah.
Wow.
But they've got
I think they got a lot of points through that pools.
They do, but they got an actual they got a professional squad that they've funded through their government to pay for them to live and train as athletes.
I guess it all comes down to money, and they've got to work out how to generate the viewers on the telly and get the big corporate dollar back, and you'll see. Because it's a sad thing, but there's 500 kids at Nippers at our club, so it's a big participation sport, but none of those kids are going to be able to make a living out of doing that. So we'll lose them to triathlon, to footy or to cricket or whatever it might be. We'll lose them along the way, and I'd love to see some big money thrown back in the arena.
As we all
I'm
would.
struggling to find any past results there for Matty Bavalaka, but we might get someone text into the social forums at some point and
comment in the video below if you know the answer to that one, please.
They can fill us in, but
what about before we move off to lifesaving? Take us through greatest board relay team ever assembled. There's a couple that probably come close. North Burleigh there, with Mitcho and what would it be? Mitcho and Rat and who else? Who was
Brucey Taylor.
Brucey Taylor.
Yeah.
They weren't bad, but they couldn't hold up against these three blokes.
Well, what about Roddy? Roddy got a
Roddy,
gold in the under
Roddy,
16s.
Yep,
under
he's the
19s
only one
in
of
the
us that has
Opens.
done it.
Yeah, I went close.
We both went 16s, 18s.
I got silver and a bronze in the Opens, but no gold. Not like.
Didn't you win some gold there at the start of the year, AJ? You still doing it? Some Masters gold?
Yeah, I'm Masters, mate.
Yeah, but you say
Pegs-
that though.
pegs
Masters,
move.
The masters in our age group are the elite guys.
yeah, you're probably
That's-
still
that's
racing against
The
like
Roddy, that's
Shannon.
the Roddy's missing that gold medal now.
Yeah.
Aussie gold.
Nah,
Masters.
Nah, mate,
I heard he's good for a double ski gold in the next couple of years. Masters.
Get him back, I say.
The sluggies are hung up, mate. They're done. The cloth caps hung up,
Well,
and the sluggers are done. mate.
Take us through. Which one stands out? 16s or 18s for you three blokes?
Oh, mate, have to be the first one. I
Yeah.
can still remember it like it was yesterday. Like, big.
Who
Phil,
went first?
Phil Ramage went off
Ramage.
first. Had a they
So
were
the
bunched-
waves parted.
No, it was
No?
pretty. It was pretty close to be honest. Like, from memory, Phil was battling it out there at the front with a heap of different clubs, and then coming to the wave section, and he was on more to the northern end.
Which beach? Where are we?
We're at
Kurrawa,
Kurrawa.
the,
Kurrawa.
the
Back at
home, the home of
the Holy Grail, mate. We were there, and he pushed down to the northern end and got just pushed over this one, like, and it was sort of in the middle of the break there, and carried him all the way through to the shore and gave us an unbelievable lead. And I basically just had to get myself through the shore and get around the course, and then AJ followed suit, and he
I fell off.
came
Remember
over
that?
playing the glory. I think
Fell
he
off.
may have.
Jumped on my board and fell off. I was so nervous.
Were you on the saintly colours then?
Yeah, I was on the Saintly board. No, I wasn't actually. No,
Moved
sorry.
on.
Yeah, but we won. We won that.
Yeah, it was quite a good
Won
one.
that easy, and then
That was a good one. And the
then
second year,
second
lower
year-
that, well, we had a year off because then I did 2 years of
That's right.
16s, and then I caught back up to you guys in the age group.
Yep.
Because when we went through, it was a real sport. So it used to go from under 14s, so you toughed it out in
Just
the
lost
nippers,
half our listeners. Thanks for that.
and you didn't paddle
Yes.
a big board until you were 16s, right? So you did 2
Or
years.
turning 15.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did 2
yeah.
years in under 16s, and then you jumped straight into 2 years at 18s. and then
19s.
19s.
There's 19s.
19s, and then you grew a set and you were straight in with the open boys. No mucking around. None of this now. It's like 14s, 15s, 17s. Like there's about 15 age groups before you get to opens now. So
Back in my day.
it's rubbish. Need to just making more medals for all the kids. That's all. But yeah, the next year when we caught back up, I went off first. I think I come in about mid pack, and then AJ did the same thing. He had an absolute screamer come through the goods and then straight through and gave Phil a handy lead, and Phil just floated his way around and true Ramage style
Claimed it.
Claimed it.
glory.
Yeah.
No, but like
Nah, it was good.
Roddy come in like we're thereabouts at the front, like mid top 5.
Yep.
AJ went around, staying around like just behind the front couple, and then just come back in. Just wasn't even a wave, it was just a runner. Didn't even turn into a wave and just stayed on this runner all the way to the beach. Didn't break or nothing, and gave us. By the time he started running, it would have turned into, I reckon, 40 metres, 45 metre lead. Once he started running, and it was just like, you know.
So how's the memory on you blokes? That's about 20 years
Solid,
ago.
eh? So those,
Yeah.
do you remember? Like, I think this is a bit different. Like, out the boards we were paddling back then, the old Ben Strahlen had
Yeah.
a concave
Yep.
hull on them, so like a catamaran, and they were just designed like purpose built for catching
Runners,
and
yeah.
running.
Is he still making boards or not?
No, he doesn't, and no one paddles those concave
No.
base. There is a milder version of them around these days, but then they're almost non-existent.
They're all round bottom.
But back then, he was onto something.
I've still
I
got the
think.
Red Rocket tucked away there.
Have
mate.
you?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've still got mine there tucked away.
So,
Would,
yeah,
it,
it's
would it pass, what's it called?
Requirements.
Engineering or whatever it is? Scrutineering?
Oh, there's every chance it wouldn't.
yeah.
But I'll never find that out because I can't imagine I'm doing any races anytime soon.
Phil, can you take us around your footy playing days? What do you say, 700 and what?
45.
That's a fair effort, and obviously no NRL in that, but professional. Sort of, like, I think whenever I think of your footy career, I think like what's his name, Will Ferrell, semi-pro. So like
Oh, yeah,
you're
yep.
you're making a living out of
Yeah,
footy and
yep.
travelling and playing a lot of footy. Who was the best footy player you ever played with, Jurgen?
I'd say Daniel Wagon.
Yep.
Just purely on his defensive side of things, and the way he used to, because I played in France 6 years,
Yep.
and I think it was my second or third year over there. Just when he finished with the Parramatta Eels, he come over and played a couple of years over there. But just when we were, struggling on one side, and he just pushed up hard and got in between the ball player and the outside guys, and then when they they couldn't get out there, then he would tackle them, and then he would twist the player away from their supportive player. And, that's just purely from NRL, ARL back in the day and just all that training. But that was just something that a lot of people didn't see. But, anyone that would respect that type of player, everyone looks at the Kalen Pongers and scoring all those tries, Sean Johnson, all those Latrell Mitchell scoring those tries.
Yeah.
But on that side of thing, that's the type of thing that I kind of look for in footy players, and I'd say that would be it.
Because you went through some pretty handy guys, like you played with like Benny Hannett and those guys, and they made fair careers for him. So
I was surprised I didn't get a mention actually. Then I was
He could have. You invited him on this. He should have given you a rap. Hey?
all right, best winger you've played with.
His name is Matthew Bronco Burrell.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Possibly the worst footy player to wear the Bears colours and possibly the worst board paddler to ever put a North Burleigh cap on. So I struggled in both departments there, but I was lucky to be around some talented blokes. But
we got a few premierships.
Did you get? We did
in the Burleigh Juniors,
and then you went over to Tugan with Choppy Close and broke our hearts in the under 18s, I think, didn't you?
We got one, won that one.
How many did you get? Did you get a title in France? You played in some big games over there.
Yep, we got the 2008 French Cup.
And they love their footy over there.
Yeah, it was coming back to the town. They chucked us on an open air, just one of those little Jeep type of cars, and all 17 of us was on the back, on the bonnet, on this and that, and just both sides of the street just lined up, coming from where the bus dropped us off, then into the main square. Was just littered with red and black, because I played with my team was Limu Grizzlies, and we were red and black, and it was just phenomenal, the passion that they've got because our main sport in our town was rugby league.
Yeah,
and it was just phenomenal. That was 2008. Played in 6 grand finals, won our first one, and was like winning GF. It's how good's this? Yeah, it's good, but we didn't fully understand how much it meant to our French town and the people of the town, and went on to lose the next 5 GFs.
That's tough.
Yeah, and they were all within, we felt we should have won all 5 of them games, but we lost within, under a try or there or thereabouts, so it went down to the wire.
Is that because the kicker was no good?
No, that definitely wasn't it.
You've had some pressure kicks over the years, and it's, some people would haunt them, but most people would beg to be in that position, win, lose or draw. Like, how do you feel about some of those kicks that you've missed over the years? Have you won enough that it outweighs the ones you've missed, or what?
Oh, no, because I've lost 2 grand finals on the buzzer, kicking from the sideline, and they've both hit the same upright in both times. One was
I think I was there one of those days too.
I saw one of them too, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was 2004 maybe.
At Suncorp.
Yep, 2004. Yep, hit the our left foot kicker, kicking on my good side, so it was put out in the middle of the post and a hook back, and both times hit the same goalpost, the right goalpost, so it hooked back in. So as soon as it come off the boot, you're thinking that's going to go close because it's out already in, and it just been in. So that was 2004, and the next one was my last year in France, 2013. Same thing, exactly the same thing. But that one, it was about a minute and a half to go, and I probably should have just not looked at the clock and went stuff that. But rushed the kick, didn't rush it, still got back in my usual position, but didn't take I should have taken the full minute and a half.
Yeah.
But I took about probably 20 seconds, put the ball down, lined up perfectly, got back in my normal position, had one deep breath and kicked it. But the good thing, the thing I was thinking of, we still got a full set of 6 with the ball.
Yeah.
We brought the ball all the way down, and the buzzer went on our last tackle. They rushed up on our halfback. Then he passed it back to me, and they creamed me, and then I passed it on, and then we didn't get a field goal in to try and lock it up or nothing. So, but that was probably the thing I look back on and say I wish I actually just went stuff the clock, and it's either my kick going to win it or going to lose it. But I did win 2 games over there after the siren. same position from the sideline and kicked it. So, but they weren't GF, so that's the hard
That's
thing.
all right.
Yeah.
Hey, you got any more Coronas over there?
Yeah, sorry, mate.
Can I try the next one with a lemon?
Yep.
So I really want to taste the difference. I want to know everyone's preference on that today.
Yeah, I'm going the nudie. I'm just going it a la natural.
So the story is that the only reason they do it in Mexico is to keep the flies out. Is that right?
Allegedly.
Why do you do it, Phil? What are you going a lime or
Anyone been to
lemon?
Mexico to test the theory?
No, I haven't been.
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I don't know the theory. They
Can't
all
remember your
come
trip?
with I can't remember. A few too many. No, I can't remember it, actually, to be honest.
AJ, did you go to the grand final this year? NRL?
I did.
Bears. Hearts ripped out.
Oh, mate, wasn't that terrible? Yeah. We got stuck at a pub, so we didn't actually get out there for the Bears game. Unfortunately.
That's
Standard, confession.
Standard.
Yeah, so we got stuck.
So many times.
We got stuck. But no, it wasn't that terrible to see them losing that. I mean, that bounce could have had, 100 different options the way it went. And,
Brutal.
And we would have been okay and we would have won. But I thought they played really well, to be honest with you. I thought they were solid. And
They certainly erased the 3 years before where they got blown off the park.
Well, that's the problem, mate, is we went down to that game as well. And we went out and watched them and they got flogged by 60 or 70, I think. They got absolutely hammered. So we thought, we don't want to go out there and watch it again.
The pod we haven't done a pod for a couple of weeks since the grand finals. Sorry, folks listening at home. We've sort of real life's got in the way of the podcast over the last couple of weeks. But what do you think of the extra set of six, the whole debacle in the grand final? How did it? What was it like live at the stadium? What was the general reaction?
Didn't raise an eyebrow to me. We were sitting behind where that happened, and you could see the ref put his hand up and wave. I saw it, and I said, they got six again. And then the play went on, and it didn't, sort of nothing happened. But there's no reaction from the crowd that I could feel anyway. But, mate, I think, honestly, Canberra had a lot of action down that end of the ground. And
There's no guarantee they score.
no, there's not. There's not. And
That held them out with 12 players for 10 minutes.
yeah.
I think the better team on the day won, but they're heartbreaking for those Canberra fans.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
yeah, but if the ref was playing footy, we've all played any type of sport. The ref makes the wrong decision. It doesn't matter. You got to stick with it.
Yeah.
And just go. If they score, they don't score. The next time break and just go like, sorry boys, But if he's made the wrong decision, you just got to stick with it, because what the Canberra players did, as soon as that happens, they look at the ref straight away. Yep, he's given a six again. They don't look at him again. They're like, where's the ball? There's the ball. Yep, let's get it. Right, yep, no, we've got six again. No, don't pass it, tackled. They're not trying to listen to the ref, because there's, 82,000 or whatever
He's already heard.
fans.
He's
there,
already seen the way.
Yeah, all they do is because, right, is that a six again? Look at the ref. Yep, six again. Right, and then their next focus is getting the ball. Right, we've got six again. Settle down. You'd
Probably should have been a chicken scratch, I reckon. Like old school, hands behind your back, ball in the middle.
What happened?
Hands on heads, just not well done.
Yeah.
No, that was my thought too. Filthy. Definitely, I thought that because old mate with the ball, he's running in. He just ran straight at the defender, took the tackle. Like if he doesn't, he puts the grubber through. They get six again, and they supply pressure again. You know what I mean? Like it was definitely a massive thing. But back to the Bears. I just want to get back on the Bears and keep it more local, like for what we're carrying on with. How many guys in that Bears team you reckon get a start in NRL? Like, what's the like for a I'm not a massive NRL follower or anything like that. Like, what's the pathway like for a young kid these days? Is that the pathway? Like, you go from your junior footy and then you jump into the Bears. Like, is under 20s and Fogs Cup and it's all done those days.
No, they've got like the Q Cup under 20s now.
And
this was the first year that they've done it.
Okay.
So
those guys from the Bears, are any of those guys potential for NRL contracts next year? Or I know Anthony Don.
I think 3 or 4 of them have ended up on the radar. Is it Curtis Rowe, fullback?
Fullback, yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
Jamal Fogarty. How he didn't get a start for the Titans this year is beyond me. Like when they've got halves trouble and they've got him right there in the feeder team.
That Anthony Don, like, I don't know, like, I think from an outsider looking in, he's one of the best. Like, and I know he's the winger. Like, a lot of the times they don't get the accolades, but some of the tries he scored have been pretty unreal.
Oh, yeah.
And the couple he got in the GF for the Bears were unbelievable. Like that one that he ran, like the one where the I don't know, it was a halfback or whoever made the break. Like he was way back. Like
I think it was the opposite centre or winger.
Yeah, he was on his
side.
He was on his like 10 or 20 metre
Yeah,
line, and
and
he
the
was the
only
only
one.
guy
Yep.
that
Only
chased
one.
for that for
Yep.
that chance of an offload. And as you talked about earlier when we went back to the start of the podcast, that percentage play, like that the guys
Effort
that
is
put in that
rewarded.
effort, it's
Yep.
rewarded, and that's him. And
He's on the out of there. There's something going on. They were playing Jesse Arthurs, who's going to the Broncos.
Yeah.
Like, why you'd give him game time when you got Don sitting there was beyond me. And I thought maybe it was so that he registered for the Bears, but I don't think that was the case. It was
he gets a start each week for me. Like he turns up, puts his effort in each week for me.
Yeah.
For the
What about we've
Are we going down that path?
organically
Titans path?
onto the Titans? Jimmy Lenahan's got the call up there, so gone from the Bears coach to Titans coaching staff.
Great
Jim
call.
Dimmick,
Good.
I'm all of a sudden excited about next year. Like I don't think we're gonna win the premiership.
Never
but
heard that before. Excited for next year.
you go back to the first
Never.
4 podcasts that I did, and I was
Never.
hang in there, we'll come good this year. But no, I think Jim Dimmick and Jimmy and this new coach. I think there's already talk. All the guys that have come over for the Nines want to play for Holbrook at the Titans. So that's I don't know. I see that as a positive when guys want to
To
play
me, he's
for a
just got to
coach.
get in there and flog them
Yeah,
and see who pops out the other side. I reckon. Just give it to them. I reckon.
there's a couple of blokes
Good.
there that potentially they could hope that they decide they don't want to do another pre-season.
I reckon they need to bring back Billy Johnson.
Yeah.
That's what they need. Someone to just flog the horse
Yep.
and see which guy's got the weak
That's
ticker.
it.
Righty,
See you
ape,
later.
you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they need because they're way too babied. I don't know what they did at training, or I'm sure they were putting hard efforts in, but not what his type of training program is.
Yeah,
Like, because the Cowboys used to be, they used to always say it, like Billy Johnson, he's just an animal.
They had him there at one point at the Titans.
Yeah.
That was a good
yep.
5 or 6 years ago now. They might have showed a bit of promise that year. I'm not 100% sure what the outcome was, but I definitely think someone like him, would be definitely good for their
Not
character
liking they
building
get
and
him back in.
for sure.
Get him, definitely.
What's Mal doing? Is he sticking around? Big Mal.
culture and performance. Yeah, I don't know what that.
Wishy-washy,
On the meat
huh?
pies out there, big now.
It's weird. I reckon I got a feeling Kevy didn't want to come and didn't want to come in underneath him again. Like he took his place at the Queensland as the Queensland coach, so he's trying to get out of his shadow there. From the outside looking in, I'd say did he not want to come and be under Mal's shadow again? Like he wanted to go to a club and be the head coach, or did he just decide that $500,000 a year for 3 games and commentary is pretty good life?
I'd take it.
Yeah.
I am available.
Big red on the burst.
Yeah, big red.
I just like with the Titans, and they had it. I think they had a really good opportunity to try and think outside of the box. Like they're bringing in another coach who's going to coach the same way as potentially the same way as the 3 or 4 coaches before him.
Yeah,
I was
You're the Walker brothers.
I
there.
was voting for the Walker brothers because if they got into the coaching, and they're thinking outside the box, they're coaching, which with a professional NRL team, I would have bought a season ticket because I would have gone and watched that style of play for the first 12 months. And if it doesn't work in the first 12 months, what's really happened? They're at the back of the line again anyway. Okay, let's try and get back to what is conventional training like.
I think the NRL would have chewed him up and spat him out.
But the Titans, it was a really good opportunity to go left field a bit.
Yeah, potentially.
And I think they missed the mark with just bringing back another coach who's going to do the same stuff as what everyone just tries to train or play like Melbourne Storm.
Yeah, the Bellamy way.
Yeah, and it doesn't work. So how about rightio? Here's a team that's just finished.
I don't know about doesn't work.
You look at the last
You look
16
at-
grand
you look at-
finals, and it's Roosters or Melbourne.
No, obviously with his players and his team it works. I'm talking for Titans trying to train like.
It's him as a person. And we've all had multiple coaches in all different sports and different levels. Like Bellamy just has the spell. Like he's just got it. You're on the ship or you're off. You're swimming. Like he's just got him under his finger, and you can try the same tactics and you can try the same coaching methods. But if you're not that guy, you're just not. You're not fronting up.
I did a leadership course last week, and it was go first was the big call for being a good leader. You got to go first. So Craig Bellamy's notorious for like just pounding the runner machine.
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
Treadmill.
It's discipline. That's the thing with him.
Yeah.
He's all about discipline. Same with Wayne Bennett. Like if they're doing 400-metre sprints, Wayne Bennett will stand at the end at the 400, and if he sees anyone pull up at 398, because you can see them, they're on the motor, going hard, and if you see them, the last couple of metres, everyone eases up and like still going fast over the line, but that effort in the last 2 metres, and that's discipline. He'll go, rightio, we're going again, and I reckon that's what Bellamy does.
You talk about Bennett and Bellamy in the same sentence. It was Bennett at Canberra, and he'd set this bullshit run that they had to do, and he'd win it. And then there was a guy the guy that caught him and started beating him was
Bellamy. Yeah.
Bellamy.
There you go.
So
Didn't know that, but
they'd set a road run.
that
Like
makes sense.
Bennett used to set a road run, and then he'd win it. But then it was Bellamy was the guy that actually was the first to catch him, and all he could hear was this big slapping of his feet coming behind him. Anyone watch the Nines over the weekend? No. Didn't really get the marketing that it probably required. Wasn't on free to air.
Seen a couple of
watched it.
highlights, but that's it.
I'm about
Highlight.
the same.
Yeah,
Wasn't a
highlights
bad
package.
format, but the alleged home of rugby league, Sydney, failed to fill the stadium. I would have thought that was a good chance to
Some
30,000.
48,000.
yeah
Bring
definitely.
it up here. Get it to Queensland. Just back on NRL before we jump away from it.
All right,
With
righto,
the,
producer.
With,
Whose show is this?
mate,
He's done his notes.
yeah, mate, it's
He's
game
got to
on.
get
It's got
through
more
it
notes
all.
than me.
Yeah.
The is there any truth to the rumour with Ricky Stewart bringing all the English players in, that he brings them in because they're not available for Origin, so he gets the wins up, the points up, to finish higher in the ladder?
No.
Like,
So
any truth to that?
I remember a few Queensland kids going to Canberra and coming back. It's not
It's
a
cold.
place
It's
anybody
cold.
wants to live. But the Poms go, oh, how good's this? Just like home. Well, that's why he's targeting the Poms, because
It's
they
deck chair weather.
don't realise how shit Canberra is. I don't know, but there's a good theory in that too. The same as South and all the Burgess brothers. They don't lose the Burgess brothers during
Origin period.
during Origin. But yeah, there might be some truth to that.
Anyway,
I think we'll leave
move on.
Burgess alone because that's a hot topic at the moment.
Move on.
What
producer
about-
You got
Matt.
anything else?
A sofa-
But
What about
So
Solomon-
you didn't watch
Got a
NRL.
bit going on.
what about the Barley Biff?
oh,
Is he?
wasn't that scary? Seeing those hands coming at you if you're that bloke. Oh my
Like
god!
getting hit with pumpkins.
Holy Jesus!
Do you,
It's not well.
how is the NRL in any position to ban him
Who
from
knows?
New Zealand games?
Who effing knows?
I think that's a holier than now approach. Oh, well,
You sign a contract and hang on, you can't do anything outside of anything. You sign the contract. Your
I
games.
just don't like that he's over there as part of a Melbourne Storm end of year function. He's not
Yep.
there as part of the New Zealand team.
The season's
and
over.
Then,
Yeah,
and
you
then
can do
all
what
of a
you like.
sudden, the New Zealand public and the New Zealand team suffer because of something he's done outside of their time. Like, it should be carryover from when the season if he's going to get any punishment, as Phil said earlier, off air, he gets punishment. He gets at the start of the season next year, because he's copping. Like, at the end of the day, all he did was jump in, help his mate.
Well, I think it's bullshit. He should not even get a ban for that.
No.
I'm going to steal an idea that I heard from a caller on the radio today. Probably the best thing would have been like an education program for young kids. Like, hey, I didn't want to be in this position, but I was. But one punch can kill. This, that. Like,
Got to remember, he's not in Surf's Paradise. He's in Bali. Like, the rules, there are rules there. Like, and there's laws there and stuff. But it's really liberated. Like, there's guys there. Like, it doesn't show exact footage. But there's the alleged stories going that he's getting kicked and punched, and there's bottles and glass and stuff all over the ground. Like, he's trying to just get his mate up off the ground and get him home. And if he's got to, send a few blokes 5 rows back into the grandstand to get his mate up off the ground, well,
Who's running in there though?
We'll
But
see.
seriously, as soon as he shapes up, you're not just going, whoop, sorry, bro. Well, moving on.
yeah.
What? I don't know. I feel like he's been punished for being out in public as opposed to being punished for fighting.
Yeah.
Because I'll give you a scenario, and it's again not an original idea. Round 1 next year,
I like this one.
opening game, great game of footy. Todd Greenberg's leaving the premises, and some punter runs at him. King hits him, and Solomono's there, and a few of the other Melbourne players. Do they step in? Probably not.
Nah, it's probably not.
I don't know. I think it's weird that yeah, there's plenty of things that guys do and that they should be punished for, but that's an odd one.
Helping your mate.
Helping your mate. We're going long in this pod, but what do I want to cover? Sharks. I've got a question for you, and I know it's going to cut deep, AJ. But only because I've copped it all year that the Titans are going to get relocated. The Sharks are always in that same conversation. As someone that doesn't live in Cronulla, would you go for the Sharks if they were based out of Perth?
Oh, I think I still would.
Yeah.
Just based on loyalty.
Because I'm a hypocrite. If the Titans got shifted, I reckon I'd blow a gasket and I wouldn't support them anymore. I'd go back to the Bears games or something like that.
Yeah, good point.
And I know that's hypocritical, but it's just I went for the Phil will be filthy at me. I went for the Broncos from when I was a kid, but when the Titans come in, I got behind them because they were the local NRL team, and I wanted to watch NRL games on the Gold Coast. And I think it's one of the best nurseries in Australia. So I think if the NRL took that back away, I'd be filthy for some reason. I don't know. But
it's an interesting topic, to be honest with you. Like, it wouldn't be the first team they've relocated, but I just think the track. I mean, Manly is a good example.
Yeah,
they booted the Bears out of the comp with that merger, and then they got back in, and they ended up. They were supposed to be the Central Coast Eagles, and they came back, and now the Manly Eagles. So for them, nothing's changed. But I just don't think it's ever going to be
geographically
possible.
that should have worked. The Northern Eagles should have worked. I've lived down there, and obviously the problem is the history between the clubs. But when you look at actual geography and market share and long-term vision, you would go, that should have worked.
Well, St George Illawarra, probably a good example.
Yeah.
Has that worked or not? They did something similar geographically. Is that a success or not really?
They've won a flag. They've won one too, not 20, or 15 or whatever they think they've won. Same South, one. Broncos dominant. Newcastle won. Because we're talking about National Rugby League now. We're not talking about the New South Wales Rugby League.
But the segue to that was where you're going with all this, I presume, is that it's not really a national comp because it's only played realistically in Queensland, New South Wales. So it's not we're not nationally, you know what I mean? It's like when they play the World Cup series, like realistically, is it a World Cup? It's really Australia versus New Zealand versus, England, like you got the.
I've got some bold theories how to fix all this.
Yeah, Samoa, like Tonga. Tonga was a good hit this year, and there's a lot of
Polynesian. They got dramas.
Yeah, a lot of
Tonga's got dramas with their board and everything. They've a little bit of success, and all of a sudden it's chaos.
They're blowing up. But Lebanon and that, like they're not. A lot of those guys aren't heritage from that area.
Yeah.
They've just sold their allegiance that way, and away they go.
Controversial.
But it's.
What about
deep topic?
I think rugby's struggling, and it's because they don't have that national comp. They've got 4 teams, so at best you've probably got 120 spots in Australia that are available if you want to make a career out of rugby. Whereas there's 480 top 30 spots at NRL clubs, and it shows. Like, I'd like to, and this is going to get a little bit had a parallel universe, so you put all the history aside and go, right, it's 111 years since the two codes split from each other. It's like the two games aren't that far from each other. Like, imagine a world where you could go, right, rugby union and rugby league are going to come back together, and it'll be like a truly global sport. All the real estate they'd own, all the players that would be available, like how good those World Cups would be.
What would you call it? What would the sport be called?
Just rugby. It'll just be rugby. Because that's essentially, and I love league, but when you go to other countries, they don't know the difference. Rugby league is not actually recognised as an international sport because the international body of sport or whatever the ruling party is they don't actually classify rugby league as different to rugby union, which I find bizarre. Yeah. But in my little bubble, rugby league is the ultimate. But I love to sit and fantasise and think, well, even after this World Cup, so the Wallabies have just been bundled out of the World Cup. I think we'll just set the precedent in Australia. Australia rugby and the NRL are going to merge, and we're just going to play the same national team in both comps. So if there's a rugby union World Cup, we'll send the top blokes, and if there's a rugby league World Cup, we'll send the same blokes.
I tell you what, there'd be some blokes in that Wallaby side who wouldn't be getting a start.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Their skill set is just appalling sometimes.
Yeah.
They can't.
Yeah, the kicks.
Mate,
Like
what
they
about
do they do
tackling and
kicks?
and passing and catching?
So Checkers openly said that he didn't want to be a kicking team, and it's probably just cost them. I'm not a rugby union diehard, but
Kicking, in that game, kicking works. It's all about possession.
Wales came out and slotted a 3-pointer in the first minute to the game and just put us straight on the back foot, and we didn't recover from that. It was weird.
Yeah, no,
Well, it's all about the position on the footy
That's
field.
right.
You just want to be inside the opposition's
You
22.
would have played a bit of rugby,
Yeah,
little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But it's all about, I think, you just want to play as much footy as you can inside the opposition's 22, because all you're going to do is work for, if you get them down there, defence, work for a mistake. If not, you're going to get a penalty. What do? Take the three, and that's all it is.
How many
Like,
But it's
Wilkinson,
boring as
Johnny
boring as
Wilkinson,
batshit though
England.
too, right? Like
Dan Carter for the Kiwis. How many World Cups we lose
I used to
from
love watching.
those blokes?
As a kid, I was a footy fan, and in my head there wasn't a big difference between the two games. There was difference. I played league, and those guys played union, but I used to love watching the Wallabies play. I used to love the backline movements that they used to put on, and
Joe Roth.
Gregan and Horan, and rugby's never been the same since those blokes finished.
Campese.
I used to do a goose step too. Yes, I had it in me. Hey, I could talk all day with you blokes, but I got to get into my final three because I reckon we've got some time to spend on those as well. And I feel like I worded you up, so I'm expecting some good answers here. So I'm going to go into it. Sort of rapid fire. First thing that comes to your heads. I think Roddy's got like a
He's done his homework.
biography there. But
Got a spreadsheet going.
is there any topics we didn't cover there that you had?
No,
you
we
wanted to go
got
over?
them all.
He'll come back next week.
Yeah.
Keep
I reckon
going.
we could nearly do a 2-part series here. Doing A and B. Tune in. Get a
Welcome
tick
any
couple
time in the sweaty box, I tell you.
Oh,
Right, we're going to start with Phil, and we'll go around
I've
the.
navigated my way around a few
We'll-
sweaty boxes.
We're going to go around the table, rapid fire. So Phil, fairly worldly fella over there. Favourite place in the world for a beer?
Well, there's a couple, but to pick one, I'd say up at Bowen there's a pub called the Grandview Hotel, and that's got a really nice outdoor bar area outside, entertaining and all that, and on a Friday, Saturday, or a Sunday Ave.
Why not all three?
Yeah, it's pretty special. I'd say Grandview, Bowen.
Shout out to the Grandview at Bowen. AJ,
Oh, the top pub at Byron.
top pub.
Yeah, I love it.
It's a good spot.
It's sentimental. We got married there.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's all right.
So, it's a great spot.
It's certainly a good spot for feeding a beer. A look around.
Not out of plastic cups, but you got to get in there before 8 or whatever the bullshit starts.
Crab.
Oh, North Burleigh Surf Club, mate. Get back passionate there. Get back into the heritage there, mate. Yeah, you can't beat it. It's good.
There's something about the schooners. I could drink cans of gold all day, like in the boat. Not that I would, but you could drink cans of gold all day. If I have 3 schooners at the North Burleigh Surf Club, I'm legless. I don't know what it is.
It's the rapid fire that they go down, mate. The boys get up there and get excited, and you drop 3 in the first 15 minutes, and that's where all the trouble starts.
Well, I remember drinking in there like when we were about 15 or 16.
Hey,
must have
hello.
been,
Careful.
It's too late. It's years ago. They can't come at us now. It was someone's 21st. We mentioned him earlier on the podcast. I remember like the security guard was doing laps.
Rats, I reckon.
Yeah, it was.
Leon Hayes.
And every time we walked away, it was just like scull a scooter and wait for him to come back. It was almost as good as being in the Hoey Moey when we were about 15 playing pool. Righto, next question. Favourite athlete of all time?
I'd say either Carl Lewis or Michael Johnson running his 400s.
Are they both drug cheats, both those blokes?
I don't know if Michael did
It's a
Michael Johnson.
technicality.
What was
Michael
that
Johnson get
Carl
done?
Lewis
was that
get done?
disclaimer that we
Yeah,
signed earlier? You
yeah.
can't,
Allegedly.
yeah,
I could be wrong.
yeah.
Definitely
Michael
wrong on
Johnson.
that
I
one.
don't know if Michael Johnson got done.
Yeah, he was pretty good, Michael Johnson.
Yeah,
I remember
just
I
he used to glide like.
used to run a few 400 metres back in the day too when he was going good.
Is that the old skull of beer eater meat pie that was sitting around?
Yeah. AJ, who you got?
Kelly Slater's my vote.
Freak.
Yeah, to do what he's done in a variable conditions,
Yeah.
which is what surfing is.
How many times did he get the nod though, just because he was Kelly Slater? Do you reckon? Like you got the fuck, it's Kelly. We'll give it to him. Sorry,
Yeah,
Jar.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know.
He's a
was he
freak.
the best surfer at the time? I think,
Yeah.
yeah, hands down.
He's
Yeah.
still going all right now.
He's a
Like, what is he
freak.
punching into his 50s? And
Nah, he's
some
not
of the
quite.
some of the stuff he's doing is still
I'm
revolutionary.
hoping we
It's
get one of
he's
those
a
wave
pioneer for
pools
sure.
here.
Yeah, they look good, eh?
Well, they got that one in Yeppoon, but it's not open to the public. I don't know what the story is with that
I
because
think it's a test.
yeah, but surely at some stage they can't just have it a white elephant.
I think they cost that freaking much to set them up.
Yeah.
That they've got to charge like serious dollars to pay the things off.
But you'd go it, wouldn't you? Like if
Yeah.
they had one out the back of Carrara, say for instance, and all of a sudden, you know, like
If Kelly stood there and pushed me onto the wave, I reckon I'd nearly get barreled.
say for instance, say you talk about your you know, like your ultimate whatever, like
Yep.
you go what do you go surfing for now? Say you get an hour, like we've all got kids, you know, times of an essence, you know, like say you go, righto, I'm going at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm going straight to the wave pool. In an hour, I know I can get 10 waves in an hour
Yeah.
at the wave pool. It's going to cost me 150, but I'm going to get 10 screamers. They're perfect. They're mechanical. They're going to be the same. Are you paying it?
To go
mate,
off topic,
we're heading
in
that
a
way.
world that's heading so technological focused, and you know we're talking about people potentially losing jobs and what industries are going to survive. Experiences are what people are going to pay money for, and that you've just nailed it. People are going to be time poor. They're going to want an experience that's consistent, and they know what they're going to get. What last time you and me went surfing, we spent 45 minutes driving from Burleigh to Coolangatta. We went in, floated around for 20 minutes, and got back out. Like,
Yeah.
you're 100% right.
Yeah.
But we're off topic. Favourite athlete of all time.
How much time we got? I did some serious research on this.
You've got to narrow it down.
You got us the text message out the other day, and I went to bed on it the other night, and I categorised it to from when I was 0 to 15, 15 to 20, and 20 to 35 to where I am. Have we got time for this? Or?
Yeah, get into it.
No,
Rapid
well,
fire.
So I've changed over the years, and I've done different sports and that. So when I was a grommet, I was into soccer. So I was Maradona and Pelé were my two faves.
Yep.
And then obviously 15 to 20s, heavily involved in lifesaving. So I was T. Hendy and those guys. And then the basketball side of things, everyone got into that. Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, back to Kelly Slater. And then as I got older, probably Jonathan Thurston, Alan Langer, Mick Fanning. And then I jumped out to like the endurance race sort of guys, you know, like Chris McCormack, Craig Alexander that did the Hawaiian Ironmans, those sort of guys.
What about Brad Bevan? You remember watching him every
Yeah,
Saturday morning?
The croc.
The croc.
Yeah.
Oh, Tiger Woods got to get a start. Muhammad Ali, Michael Schumacher. I'd get 100 favourites. Like they're all
Favourite athlete
Yeah.
of all time.
One.
We pick one.
One Clifford.
Woods for multiple things.
Wha-
Tiger Woods. He was the man on the green, and he was the man. Just leave it at that.
Oh,
T. Woods.
righto. Last question. Ramage. 4 people over for a barbecue.
I'll have a Rona too, filthy, when you're ready.
Yeah, I can have one. I'm still split. I don't know whether I'm going lime or lemon. Yeah, righto. We'll go back to you then while he's getting the beers. 4 people over for a barbecue. Anyone from history? Who's coming and what are you cooking?
Barbie.
Yep.
And just flat out, just sausage and bread, mate. It's just that
Sausage and
good.
bread.
Just keep it simple. You can't beat a good snag. Just no
And
sauce.
Onions?
Nah, nothing. Just straight
What?
sauce and bread.
Coleslaw?
Nah, sauce and bread. Just because you're just talking too much. You'd have 1,000 beers. You're not worried about the food.
Yeah.
Food's overrated. But I've got a couple of scenarios here.
Yes.
I've gone deep into this. So for
I
me,
love the prep. I do appreciate it.
so for 4, what do we got? There's 4 plus yourself.
Yes.
So, well, one, I just, all 4, I'd just have my family. So
Yep.
I'd have my mum, my dad, my sister and me.
Yep.
We got 4 here. I'd have you boys.
Yeah.
It's been a while and we're all good mates growing up together. And if I'm going out there, I'm going Muhammad Ali, Tiger Woods, Pelé and Michael Jordan. And then if I'm going real deep,
Hang on. Say that again. Tiger, Pelé,
yeah, Muhammad
Ali,
Ali, Woods,
and Jordan.
Pelé and Jordan.
It's huge.
And then
It's
for
going
me,
to cost you a bit. That's expensive.
for me personally, I would have my 3 boys and my dad
That's solid.
would be the ultimate for me.
I'd love to see that.
That would be me.
You're going to make me cry, you bastard. AJ.
I am going to have JFK I'm going to have Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I'm going to have Kelly Slater. And I need another one, don't I?
I'm available.
Yeah, I'd say
I can
I'll
cook.
I can come along.
Kelly, Jordan, Ali.
Yeah, not Ali.
No, sorry. Who was it? Kelly?
Kelly Slater,
Yep.
Michael Jordan,
Yep.
JFK.
Ja-
Interesting,
Wow,
very
yeah,
interesting
that's deep.
guy. And I'm going to throw one out there that I read his book and I was quite amazed by this guy. It's Costa Zoo.
Costa.
Yeah.
Young bloke starting to make a name for
Yeah, he's
himself
doing
as well.
really well, isn't he?
Mm.
And mate, I'm not much of a cook, but I can cook a mean steak. So
Cook a steak. I
What
like
do you mean?
it.
I come to your
leave it.
joint one night. We had baked fish. That was good.
really,
Hey, you went
yeah,
on.
that's my other thing I can do once every now and then.
Yeah, it's not bad enough that he's like exceptionally smart, good at sport, and can cook.
Cook a baked fish. Look out.
No looks and a small schlong, but we'll let him have the first. We'll let him have the first couple.
That's all right.
You
It's
go easy on those beers, mate.
all right, AJ. No one listens this deep into the pod anyway. They've all turned off. 4 people.
Denzel Washington.
Denzel.
Yep. Carl Barron.
Yes.
Yep, just to
Yep.
keep us all entertained.
Ever done a cartwheel to save your life?
Have you ever done this walking down the aisle? Whoopsie. 2 more would be
Is this
I'd
why it
say-
pays to prep you boys?
yeah,
You
I'd-
should-
I
I'd
did send it out
say-
in advance.
Do you want
I'd say Kelly Slater too.
Yeah.
Yep, was always
Snooze.
a
That's predictable.
and I was watching him the other night, and to jump on the comedy bandwagon again would be Chris Rock. Yeah,
Solid.
yeah. I was sitting there, and he had me in stitches. So
What about you, Matthew? Where you going? Who you getting?
I've never thought about it. I asked the questions around here.
Not tonight.
Do you want all 3 questions or just the last
Yeah,
one?
go all.
Favourite place in the world for a beer? Hamilton Island's pretty solid.
Tough.
Fiji,
Oh, here we go.
pretty good. Fraser Island, mate. Sitting at Yidney Rocks at Fraser Island, having a beer late last year. I thought I'd died and gone to heaven, so I'm going to say Fraser. A beer anywhere on Fraser Island, to be honest. Could be sitting in the creek with you blokes on Eli Creek. Favourite athlete of all time? It's a tough one. There was one man that I thought was a god when I was a kid, and that was Alan Langer. I don't know if call him an athlete,
he's not an
but
athlete; he's a footy player.
he was a god.
Athletes are playing the game
He was-
today.
he was a god
He-
amongst men.
Back then, they were all about playing footy, and
Having a good time.
yeah,
4 people over for a barbecue. Do you get deep? I'd go Joe Rogan just because I absolutely froth on the bloke. I think he's got a good outlook on life. Alfie gets a start. What about Jesus? I want to see what that bloke was all about. Get him back. See if he was a fake news or not. What's that?
No comment.
1, 2. I'll take my big brother as well. If I
Yeah,
could get someone back for the afternoon, he'd definitely be there because he.
good chat.
I tell you what, he's cooking because he was mad at it. But it'd be steak on the barbie for sure. Boys, I could talk all afternoon, and we probably will.
What about local heroes you grew up with?
local heroes?
Yeah, you know, like guys that you looked up to in your close circle of friends that you looked up to when you were younger. What about those guys? I don't know, like blokes you played footy with, surf club with.
It's going to sound a bit random. He fixes our outboards now. Andy Kilcoven I used to look up to him because he was a mad beach flagger.
Yeah.
He was.
he loved a dart too.
Shout out to Andy. Get on the pod.
Pre-race. Loved
He was.
that. Yeah, loved the VB too. Still does.
Yeah.
Hammers them. More notes. I've got a few.
What
I've
do you?
got a few-
We've got all day, mate.
Yeah, I've got a few here.
Missy's waiting inside. It is my anniversary, but you go.
We had a few. What do you reckon, you boys, about this list? Wally Williams, Trav Callahan, Rat, Brad Rogers, Mike Murray, Timmy Walker. For the girls' side of things, Nicole Moffat, Kirsty Bole.
You're just trying to get brownie points with all the people that are still at the club.
On the board too, so long as my son gets picked in all the A teams, I'll be happy with that. T. Hendy, Courtney Atkinson, Brad Bevan, we spoke about him, Scotty
Yep.
Reeves, Phil Clayton, Kai Hurst, Clint Robinson, Grant
Scotty Reeves definitely was because he had the reverse North Burley cap.
Grant Hackett,
The green with the white
the
stripes.
Tobes. Yep.
Yeah.
What about that list? Fair list
That's solid.
That's rock solid. That
for,
one.
for
Yeah.
local blokes for
Yeah.
us to kick around with. We
So-
had a pretty good childhood.
Do you know what? It's sort of where the origins of this podcast come from. We were going to wrap it up, but we'll keep going. Big part of what I want to try and focus on in the podcast is the Gold Coast is the prime spot for an athlete to succeed. And we always hear that no football code is ever going to work on the Gold Coast because people just can't be successful on the Gold Coast. It's a party town, they're never going to focus on the sport. But some of the names you just rattled off, the Courtney Atkinsons, some of those people that were locals and dominated their world sports. Grant Hackett swam in the pool about a K that way.
Kenny Wallace, Jacob Clear.
Hey.
Those guys are all Olympic gold medalists.
Claim to fame. I've got a photo where I've lined up next to Kenny Wallace in a board race. Like I would have finished about 2 hours after him, but the picture tells 1,000 words. I was standing next to that Olympic champion one day on the beach.
He won it for a ski though, so he wasn't great on the board.
Oh,
But
stop it.
we'll give you that one.
But you know what I mean? Like the Gold Coast, perfect spot to succeed as an athlete. And we certainly... So where I was
Especially in the
coming
water
back to is,
sport.
how many people do you know that are world-class athletes that you either know personally or you're one person removed? Like Shannon Eckstein wouldn't know me, but I was in the only rep team I ever made. He was the captain of the South Coast branch team. Like I remember sitting under the tent one day with Kai Hurst. He had these most outrageous Oakleys on that I'd ever seen because he was obviously sponsored by him and got them before everyone else. And the dudes that you rattled off that were in the Uncle Toby's, which was the elite sport. So it's sort of where this podcast come from. Is like I'm like one person removed from that guy, or I know that guy, or there's guys in our club that know Courtney Atkinson, world class athlete. Like, we played footy with his brother. Like,
And Courtney would give you the time too, mate. He was such a great bloke, like, and still is a good guy. Like he'd talk to you anyway. Like,
yeah. But you know what I mean? Why does the Gold Coast get a bad rap from the rest of the country when it's actually full of world-class athletes?
As far as the water sport's concerned, like the Gold Coast has got to be the best. Like water temperature barely gets below 18 degrees, like in the ocean, and like the pools, like we've got great facilities, especially nowadays. We've got great facilities for pool swimmers.
Yeah.
If you use Surf Lifesaving as an example of that, is that it's the hub. The Gold Coast is the hub.
True.
All the professional guys all come here to live and train.
Yeah.
And the clubs attract them, and it's built. So that's a case in
Are
point.
we in a bubble, AJ? Is that what you're saying? Like you get north of Noosa, and Surf Lifesaving's almost
It's
irrelevant.
just a sweet spot, mate. Yeah.
And then you get south of I don't know. It goes all the way around to South Oz and out of Perth. Like, but you get inland 10Ks, and people that aren't Surf Lifesaving's not relevant, I guess. Whereas footy's played in the bush and soccer and cricket. And
Well, we can claim guys down to about Newcastle, I reckon. That's South Queensland, really. Like it's as good as it gets that way. So
I would definitely shift the border to Ballina at a minimum.
I reckon we could take to Newcastle. Anything southern of Newcastle, New South Wales can have that.
I can keep it.
Yeah, but we definitely do get a lot of good sports stars here, I think. But I don't know. We do get a bad rap here on the coast, but there's a lot of unsung heroes that are here too. Like a lot of guys that have done a lot of good things for sport and they come out of the coast. So
Yeah.
Well, you look at
I think we go right.
Kebra Park and PBC, two of
100%.
the
Good call,
two
Phil.
best
Yep.
Australian school rugby league nurseries,
Yeah.
and scouts come in early
Why don't they
And
get
they-
fed straight into the Titans?
because scouts they all get picked up when they're 12, 13,
So I'll
14.
tell you,
They sign a 5-year scholarship deal.
yeah.
So they've got 5 years to hang on to them. And if they become good in the next 5 years, here's another contract. And that's how they lock them up.
Do you remember when we were at the Bears? If a bloke had a pair of Nikes and Bronco shorts, he was signed. There was half a dozen
Yeah.
blokes in our team that
I
had,
remember being at school.
that had Broncos contracts.
Yeah, we were
But
at grade
the
12.
Titans have just made changes so that they actually, because they were losing all those kids because they had a policy that they would not sign a kid under the age of 16.
Really?
But everyone's coming in and just signing the kids younger. So Mal's changed that. I think there was an announcement come out where basically they want to own the kids in this nursery, and
Have to, it's our
100%.
backyard.
Yeah.
That's us.
So many kids that are coming out of this area, and that's what pisses me off when people in Sydney go, "Oh, just move the team to Brisbane." It's like, well, it's not going to make it successful. And they don't understand, that nursery. Well, push down to Northern Rivers and up to Logan. That's the Gold Coast territory. You're talking about maybe if
Well, Logan's not part of the Gold Coast.
Well,
we're not
but
claiming
it's
that
part. you think about some of the dudes that came out of Logan in the last 15 years
Yeah.
that the
Cam
Broncos
Smith,
missed.
yeah.
Cam Smith.
JT, he was there, wasn't
Imagine if the the Titans had been strong in that early 2000s. You might have seen some of those guys playing on the Gold Coast. If the
It's
Chargers
still
never
low.
got booted.
Still Logan though.
Still, shout out to the people in Logan. The Beers and Banter podcast loves you. Boys, we'll probably talk all night, but as far as recordings go, I think we'll wrap it up. Thank you very much for coming on. Welcome anytime. It's been really good to see you. For all the people at home, we've had a little bit of a break. We've got a few little pods lined up. I am getting surgery this week, so it could be out of action next week. We'll see how we go. But thanks for joining us. You can follow us at Beers and Banter on all the social platforms, and we'll see you again soon.
Can I just have one quick one to finish off?
Yes.
At what age do kids have to pick between sports? Is it getting younger and is it getting harder? Just a quick one, just a quick throw it around. So, like, is it 13 you have to pick between rugby league and surf club? Or
I've got no idea, mate, because my kids hate me because I force them to go to
just a
nipples
quick
every
one.
Sunday.
I know you've done the wrap up, and I know you've done all that. But if you're playing two good sports, and Phil was a prime example of this, you played a multiple of sports growing up, and
What, AJ2?
yeah, like at what age nowadays? Because it seems the pressure is coming on these kids. Like you talk back to Trav Callahan. I know his young bloke has given up playing AFL to focus on being Ironman. He wants to do in the professional series, and he's in under 14s. He's just paddled big boards. So the seasons overlap now so far that they can't do both sports.
Yeah.
So is that where we're heading? Is that the cut-off period? Like, are you a 14-year-old kid and you have to choose, okay, I'm going to be an AFL player, or I'm going to play tennis, or I'm going to play golf, or is that it? Sorry,
No,
just a
it's
quick.
all right.
I reckon they need to play multiple sports
Yeah.
for as long as possible because it's cross training. Like, you're going to be training different muscles, different parts of your body compared to that person that's only doing Surf Lifesaving, where they're doing like swim, board, ski, and they are getting in the gym as well. But you look at AFL, like what
The thing with it is,
Well,
I feel, is that
Phil, you could have easily have picked Surf Lifesaving, but it was actually footy that took you another 15 years into your sporting career, like, or another 18, 19 years into
Well,
your sporting
you
career.
can't get a clear run out every time. Like, he had to put the elements in his favour at some point.
But the Surf Lifesaving and the swimming base would have made you just
definitely.
a freak on the field. And that I remember watching you do a 5,000 metres up at Griffith Uni there one day. You just like sat on this poor bloke, just set the pace for like 4,000 metres, and then Ramage just kicked him last couple of laps and smoked him.
That bloke was probably me.
Could have been. But that swimming base, that surf club
Might have been
base,
Benny Mac. That's who it would have been.
how
Benny
many
Mac.
times you lapped the beep test?
Oh, I don't know, but touching on the swimming, that's the base for your long distance running or your that type of fitness. The pool swimming sessions in the mornings.
Yeah.
That was
Gives you a set of lungs.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
Righto.
Pushing the mic away because we'll be on.
We'll come back for episode 2 another time. But thanks for listening, folks. We'll see you again soon. Cheers.